So in this year's Cyber Monday sale, I picked up some new Anker gear. Let's check it out. Okay, so this isn't a sponsored video. I'm just a big fan of the gear that Anker produce, and I've picked up a few things in the Cyber Monday sale. I just thought I'd share with you guys because perhaps you're looking for something similar, and recommendations are always good. So first of all is just a simple 3-foot braided USB-C to USB-C cable. Now I bought this to power my MacBook Pro, but also as more devices have USB-C connectivity, I think it's just going to come in handy. And I really like the quality of the braided cables that Anker produce. So let's just check this out. Usual Anker styled boxing, you get this nice little, I guess, semi-transparent paper. And then you always get these nice little cases to keep all your gear in nice and safe and secure. And this is it. Okay, so like I said, my plan here is that I can connect devices and also charge this. It fits in nice and snug to the MacBook Pro there. Depending on where your power outlets are and what you plan to do, obviously you may decide you want to get a longer USB-C to USB-C cable, but this works fine for my purposes. And I find that these cables last really well. I also have some of the lightning connectors as well, and I find them to be really the only ones that are non-Apple branded that work continuously, supply good voltage, fit nice and snugly, and get good connectivity. So I really recommend their braided cables. Put that out of the way. Okay, next is this Anker PowerPort Plus 5 USB-C power plug, I guess. You pop this open, we have a few things here. One of the things that is unique to Anker, they have what they call their Power IQ functionality, which helps the voltage, etc. If you open up the box here at the bottom, such snug fits. And here we have the 5 ports, and one of them you can see is USB PD. Now that's the super fast charging rate. So this next product that we'll talk about after, that's some other ones. If you want to charge something rapidly, you want it to be plugged in to that USB PD port for faster charging rates. And I'll pop some information up on the screen so you get a bit of details about the difference between the charging rates and why it's important. Go back in there. No, you won't. Right, okay, I'll put that out of the way. And then in here we have an adhesive strip, so if you want to mount this somewhere you can, perhaps to the side of a desk or what have you, and keep it portable. And then obviously the figure of 8 connector plug just plugs in the side there and enables us to connect. So we'll test out in a moment as well. And then finally, the thing that I'm most interested and excited about is this. It's the PowerCore Plus 26,800 USB-C with PD capabilities. This is basically a mega battery pack, and the reason I bought this is even though the MacBook Pro has really great battery life, I wanted extra backup for those times where you're working remote without a power socket for an extended period of time, and this will charge a MacBook Pro from flat to full in its capacity, or like my iPhone 6 Plus, it will charge that 10 or 11 times as well. So it's not light, but it's not super heavy either. So just pop this open so you can see. And again, the reason why it makes sense to have this USB-C 5-port power supply with that PD is so that you can charge this rapidly, so you're not having to take like 24 hours to charge it. You can charge it in say like 4 hours. Okay, so when we unbag it, there's not too much to see. We have two standard USB ports at the front. Those are the IQ ones, so they help to manage the voltage. And we have that USB-C PD port, which is the one that enables the rapid charging of devices and obviously the device itself. On the top is a very discreet circular indicator. So I don't know if you can see, there's only 3 little LEDs lit up here to show how much power is in the bank, and obviously when you charge it that will increment, and it goes in a what looks like potentially an anti-clock fashion in terms of the indicator. So we will plug this in and see what happens when we start to charge it. Also in the box for the power bank is some accessories. So you get a small USB to USB-C cable, non-braided unfortunately. Then we have a USB-C to USB-C cable, and then right at the back we have this neat little carrying pouch that we can keep this in and keep it nice and snug in the bag whilst you're transporting it. So let me clear some space and we'll get these things plugged in and see how they work. Okay, so we've got the Anker PowerPort Plus plugged in. All of these products come with 18 months warranty and lifetime technical support. So obviously you can charge up to 5 devices with this PowerPort Plus. Let's check the specifications out. So the USB PD can output at 5 volts and 3 amps, and 9 volts and 3 amps, or 15 volts at 2 amps and 20 volts at 1.5 amps. And the PowerPort IQ ports can charge at 5 volts, 6 amps with a 2.4 amp maximum output per port. So should be no problems there. So the first thing we'll do is check out and plug in the Anker Mega Beast power pack. Now the power pack here, in terms of its output, so the USB PD output can be running power at 5 volts 3 amps, 9 volts and 3 amps, 15 volts and 2 amps, 20 volts and 1.25 amps. In terms of the normal output from those USB ports, that is 5 volts 3 amps, a maximum of 3 amps per port, so more juice giving than the PowerPort Plus there. And again, the total capacity is 26,800 milliamps. So yeah, it should keep your devices up and running for a good period of time. So when we start charging this, the LEDs are going to light up and they will turn off when the charge has fully completed. What we'll do right now is we'll test out with our braided cable, just so we can see how everything works nicely together. So we plug this into the USB PD socket. Move these ones out of the way. And into the USB PD socket on the front here. And straight away we can see all of the LEDs lighting up and going in a clockwise fashion actually. So we can see initially there's the 3 lights on and then going round in clockwise. There's no light indication at all from the power port plus, which is fine. And so we can just leave that running and obviously it will charge up the device. What we will do is unplug that momentarily and see how this will power the MacBook Pro. Let's get that running. Okay, so here we can see we're at 100%. Let's plug this in. Should show us charging. Yep, and we can see there that obviously everything is fully charged and the power source is a power adapter. Let's unplug this and plug in the battery pack. Okay, again, it still says it's obviously fully charged, but it's using the power adapter. Okay, so it's been, I think, just under a week, about 5-6 days now since I started the video for these products. So I thought I'd just say how I get on with them after a week and see, basically let you guys know if I'm disappointed at all. The good news is no, I'm not disappointed at all. So I'm actually now using this PowerPort Plus as my primary power supply for my MacBook Pro. So I have the original charger or the power lead for my Mac plugged in the office, and I'm using this in any other room. I'm using it more than the official charger. I can also charge my iPhone and my iPad off this at the same time, and the charge rate seems to work really well. The reason I'm liking this more in terms of versatility is one of the big frustrations I have with the MacBook Pro, mine's a late 2016 edition, is the fact it only has the USB-C charging, so I can't charge my iPhone and my iPad, which both have USB to Lightning connectors on, whereas I can just plug this in on the floor along with having the charge lead as well. I also have since bought another Anker braided cable that's USB-C to USB-C, which is 1.8 meters long, and the reason I purchased that was just it turned out when this is kind of plugged in behind the sofa, that short cable obviously isn't long enough, so when I wanted to have the constant charging going on I needed a longer cable. But so far really liking this. I think even if you haven't got one of these power packs, having that optimized charging rate works really well. And I actually find, even though it does get warm when charging, I find it doesn't get quite as hot as the Apple plug does, and they get pretty warm, so that's working really well. This bad boy, I've used it twice now, not out of necessity, just more for the testing. So it takes around 2.5-ish hours to charge this from flat to full with this Anker charger in the USB PD kind of optimum charging mechanism. I did plug it in and just charge it off of my Mac USB-C cable, and it seemed to take a little bit longer, but not too much. It was and has been able to charge my MacBook Pro up from pretty much flat. I think it's about 5% down when I plugged it in and just fully charged it up off of this. I did plug in my phone to charge at the same time, and it did do it, but I did notice I guess a slight decrease in pace of the charging on my Mac, which kind of makes sense, right, because it's having to distribute the power. I think got a certain amount of power it can dish out, but no complaints from me at all. It feels really hard and sturdy, so I think the only thing as of any of these battery packs just to keep in mind is check when you're traveling the airline restrictions. So I would just have this kind of half charged when traveling, just to be on the safe side. And normally the way it works for me anyway is I kind of fully charge it and I use it whilst waiting at the airport, which obviously takes some charge out of it anyway. So just something to be conscious of. Some airlines are more fussy than others, but I just thought I would mention it. So yeah, after a week's use, really liking both these products. Like I said, big fan of Anker before and continue to be. If that changes, if this thing dies or something, I'll let you guys know. I've never had to utilise the what Anker call their 18-month, I think they call it hassle-free swap out or whatever it is. Hopefully I don't have to test that, but if I do, I'll let you guys know. But definitely recommending these Anker products. So as usual, links to these in the description. If this video was helpful, let me know. If you've bought these and you've had problems with them, or you're also enjoying using them, leave some comments in the below. Help other people make more informed purchasing decisions. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching this video. A thumbs up would be really appreciated. If you're interested in other geek type videos, please consider subscribing to Spectrum Geeks. Why not also follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And before you leave, why don't you check out one of these other videos that may be of interest. Thanks again for watching.